Well, this is the interesting part about the journey, I think, is that success is a perspective. Everyone's version is a
Yeah.
little bit different. And while birds of a feather will flock together, it's also the birds that look similar and act similar and eat similar and go to similar places. You're starting to pick up the pattern here, right? Like, same thing in life. You have a clique. You got people that love Lamborghinis and yachts and Mexico vacations, and then you got guys that love big trucks and hunting and hanging out on the weekend at their kids' sporting events.
Welcome to All Can, No Can't, the podcast where we toss out excuses, face our fears, and reclaim control. I'm Jeff Luther, your guide to mastering the chaos and turning obstacles into opportunities. Whether you're an entrepreneur navigating the ups and the downs of building a successful business or someone ready to rewrite the rules of your life, this is your space to grow, to push boundaries, and to embrace doing the hard shit that leads to greatness. Together, we'll explore stories of resilience, strategies for overcoming, and the mindset shifts that let you build a life on your terms. I use my experience with a life-altering diagnosis to help you find the can in every can't. So buckle up because it's time to stop living in can't and start thriving in all can. You choose. Welcome back to All Can, No Can't. I'm your host, Jeff Luther. This is the podcast where we find the opportunity in the obstacle. Entrepreneurs, sales leaders, business owners, this podcast is for those of you that are tired of hype and hungry for traction. That is why I am super excited to chat with our next guest, Drewbie Wilson. Drewbie's the founder of Call the Damn Leads. I don't think I need to say anything else, but but I will. He's an author of 4 best-selling books, the creator of Crush the Day Before It Crushes You philosophy. Here's what matters most. Drewbie didn't build this from a highlight reel. I know I've seen he rebuilt his life. He was right around 300 pounds. He was stuck in what he calls busy but broke. Some of us can identify with that, unfortunately. Drewbie dropped over 100 pounds, rebuilt his habits, and went on to generate more than $15 million in documented sales across multiple industries. His core belief is simple, but it's uncomfortable. Discipline beats motivation. Systems beat struggle. Today, he helps entrepreneurs and sales teams stop overcomplicating success and executing repeatable processes that actually do work. Drewbie, I'm so excited to talk to you, man. Thank you for being on All Can, No Can't.
Jeff, thanks for the opportunity, man. Thank you to the listener. We're going to probably talk a lot about it today, but time is the most valuable thing that you have. So to spend a little bit with us today means a lot. And Jeff, to give me some of yours and your audiences means the world, man. So let's try to give them as much as we can from today.
Yeah, thanks. And same to you. I know you're a busy dude. Um, so so I'm so curious, and I'm trying to be PC and do this in an entertaining way, but there's questions that are killing me. You talk about discipline beating motivation.
Mm.
Um, we hear motivation a lot. We don't hear a lot about discipline unless it's in a negative form. Where'd you first realize that waiting to feel ready was costing you progress?
Um, I mean, it's a tough question in that if I look back now knowing what I know, right? What's that song? It's like I wish that I knew what I know now. You know that song? Um,
It's if you listen to the words, you're like, holy shit, I do too.
I really wish I knew then what I know now. And the truth is, when I can pinpoint kind of first recognizing it, was about I want to say maybe a year after I got married and my wife was probably 7, 8 months pregnant, and I was overweight. I was kind of at like the year 3 in my job where I was kind of like settling into not much is changing. I'm not making much more, but life doesn't suck. So I was just kind of content,
What kind of
I
job?
think.
Tell me,
So
was it? Were you in sales then?
yeah, at that point I was doing insurance sales. So I was one of like the top
Okay. Sorry
producers
to
in my
interrupt, but I
market.
thought
No,
that was
you're good. It's a
important.
great question because like a
Okay.
lot has transpired since then. So at the time
Yeah.
I was selling insurance and making a good living, house, fence, married, kid on the way, right? For all intents and purposes, like everything a guy should want out of life.
Yeah.
But I was unhappy. I had lost the 100 pounds, when I met my wife. Like I got to 315, didn't get the attention I wanted, so I lost it. Met the girl, got married, started getting fat because I was eating too many desserts and going out to eat, and all the things that we do. That I blame the
Yeah.
sympathy weight. When a wife is pregnant, we eat what they eat, and like they be eating good. But this is what I mean, motivation and discipline, right? Kind of like circling back to
Yeah.
all of that. At the time, I realized I was not needing to be in the office until like 9 a.m. And I was the guy that was there at 8 anyways, because that's how I
Hmm.
operated. But my body was trying to wake me up at 5 in the morning. And I was hitting the snooze like, "Man, I don't have to be up until 7. Like, no. And I was just staying in bed thinking, like, why get up if I don't have to? I need this rest, right? And I remember
Yeah.
looking at my wife one time and just being like, man, something feels wrong. Like I'm not happy. I'm making okay money, but it's not really where I feel like I should be making. And I know that I'm not who I need to be, for you. And there's just a lot of stuff going on. And I was like, I think what I'm gonna do is just get up in the mornings and go for a walk. Like something's telling me
Something
to
when you
get
say
up.
something feels wrong, something felt wrong mentally, like you didn't feel like you weren't
Yeah,
sick.
like
You didn't think, "Oh
mentally,
my, I'm
like
sick."
I was just
Okay.
depressed. Like I like depression is the
Yeah.
best way to put it. Like and most men
Yeah.
don't want to admit that they're depressed. It's kind of an
Right.
ego thing. But
Exactly.
like, if I had to pinpoint a actual emotion, I was depressed. And
Okay.
so I remember being like, I'm just gonna get up and go walk. And at the time, our house had a really nice park behind it with a big walking path, and so it was real easy to get to. And I'd get up in the morning when my body told me, which is usually around 5:30 back then. It's around 3:30 now, fellas and ladies, if
Oh
you're
my God.
listening. Like I'm up at 3:30 every day now, but back then it was 5:30. And I say that because it takes a little time to get used to this. If you're not used to getting up early, it hits like a Mack truck. It's rough. But you get used to it, right? This is why we have to stay disciplined and not. I'm motivated to get up early, but then the early comes and like, but I'm not disciplined enough to do it no matter what. And
Right.
I remember being like, I'm gonna get up and I'm just gonna walk. And I knew I didn't want to be out forever, but if I walked it for it was like 45 minutes. It was 3.1 miles, which is a 5K. Right, so for any of
Yeah.
you runners that do racing, like a 5K is like 3.13 miles or somewhere in there. I always assume it's like 3.2. Doesn't matter. It's about
Yeah.
three and some change. But I could get it done in about 45 minutes. And so what I started doing is every day I'd just get up, I'd put my headphones on, I'd find a podcast or a book on Audible, or at the time I was really into listening to Jim Rohn and Eric Thomas and Ed Milet and those
Yeah.
Motiversity where they got all these guys like Goggins was kind of just starting to get into the game back then. He really hadn't blown up yet, so there was like Andy Frisella and just a handful of these guys that we all know and love now that we like get us just
Yeah.
pumped. And so I would just listen to those guys and I'd walk and listen and I was learning and I just kept doing this and I started down the path of personal development, and that's really when I started to understand that, the way that I put value on my life and the things that I'm doing and the decisions and the actions, that is reflecting upon the inputs on a daily basis. When I make the choice to get up and do these things, whether or not I feel like it, and I just keep feeding the beast, like things are happening. I'm making more
Yeah.
money. Like I'm feeling more confident. Like I'm my relationship's getting better. All these little things that we start to recognize. It all snowball effects. And like I don't know. It was kind of a long-winded circle answer of like I just started waking up earlier and doing the stuff that I knew I needed to do, and after that I felt better and life got easier.
No, man, that's a great answer actually, and it like you started so simple, um, because when we're in it, like we live in this world of immediate gratification,
Amen.
and especially as entrepreneurs, like my kids, oh my gosh, and you were like, all right, I'm gonna get up a little earlier and I'm gonna walk, not I'm going to So now you get up at 3. What, 3:30?
Uh, I usually wake up at about 3:15 and look at my phone and know the alarm's gonna go off at 3:30. So, I'm gonna say I give myself a little bit of a snooze because I could get up as soon as I wake up, but sometimes I wake up at 2:30 and I don't want to get up at 2:30. That's still like there's a weird
Nah,
difference
that's
between 3:30 being the morning and 2:30 still being the middle of last night. I don't know what it is,
3:30 is the
but
middle of the night to me. Like I get up at 5:25
okay,
every morning, and 3:30 that's the middle of the night.
it's
Like,
early. It's early.
yeah.
To be fair, so like I'll tell
Um,
you guys the reason I get up at 3:30, my wife has to be out the door by 7:30 to get to work. And so I like to spend time with my wife and son every morning as part of my daily routine. So for me to get all the things I need to get done for me first so that I can be the best me for them, I'm up at 3:30. I read, I pray, I meditate, I get all my like spiritual stuff out of the way early. Like right now I'm reading the Bible cover to cover, which is a weird experience, like not to get all spiritual and or religious on you
no,
guys,
get
but
on,
like
do it, do it. I'm
it's
I'm
so
I'm I'm following the same
interesting,
path as you.
the correlation of the stories and the things that are happening in the Bible to like the stuff that's happening in the world around us right now. And life kind of goes through these cycles. So it's been very interesting, and also for me, just we hear all the different parts of it, but it's kind of like there's a movie that everybody's talked about for years and years and years, but you've never seen it, and then you sit down to watch it, and you start piecing things together, and you're like, oh, oh, it's just weird little light bulb moments. Not to get off pack, but like I
Yeah.
read, I pray, I meditate, I do my spiritual stuff first. I'm out the door by 4:45 so that I can be to the gym at 5. And if you guys start
Okay.
following me after this, you'll see every morning I pull my phone out and I take this really douchey selfie of myself at the gym and I put the time of like 5 a.m., 5 a.m. It's 7 a.m. on the weekends because they don't open till 7, but like it's this douchey thing that I started doing back when I started walking because that was my accountability to myself of like, hey, I said I'm
Yeah.
going to do this, I'm doing it. And I'm going to make this note for myself and I'm going to mark it by taking this selfie and putting the time on it. And what happened over the years, people started reaching out to me because they knew I was out walking at 4 and 5 a.m. They knew because they were waking up and looking at their phone, trying to snooze. And the first thing they saw when they opened their Instagram stories was me looking right back at them like, hey, I'm out here working out. It's 5 a.m. And I've got ones where it's like, I used to tag the temperature, it'd be like -5, -3, like
Yeah.
all these stupid or in Texas when we lived there, it'd be like 95 degrees at 3:40 in the morning and you're still out getting at it. Like, and it turned into this is my routine. So I am at the gym for about 90 minutes. I like to get a massage. I go to the Planet Fitness, so I get my little hydrobed massage. I take care of myself. And then I walk in the
Right.
door at 7, finish breakfast with my wife, get her out the door. My son and I get to spend a little bit of time, and I get him on the bus every day to go to school. And then I get to start my workday. But that's my non negotiable. And I get to spend time with my family every morning, and I get to focus on me every morning. And how many people out there right now don't ever get to have any sort of intentional time with the people that they love the most? That breaks my heart. And so for
Yep.
me, a lot of times, for an all can, no can't podcast, the problem is you're saying you can't make the time, and I promise you, you can. You're just not willing to sacrifice in a few areas. And for me, I would love to get up at 5:30, but I have to sacrifice. So 3:30 it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine a life, and so many people do it. I can't imagine a life where you jump out of bed to get in the shower, to go to the kitchen, to get your stuff together, to go to work. Like,
I've been there. I don't have to
you just,
imagine it. I've
yeah.
been that person. And if I look back at the life that I was living at the time, it's reflective. The results are reflective of the actions and the intention. Hate to say it, but it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to talk more about that. I want to give the listeners like this. It's not easy. Nothing that you're saying is easy. Nothing you did was easy. Making the decision to get up early and go walk, that wasn't a huge thing, and now that's turned into getting up early, going to the gym, getting the work in, taking time out for yourself to get a massage. Some days that's hard. just to give ourselves the permission to do it. Where did and then you pray, then you journal, all of it. Or did you say do you journal
Um,
also?
I don't journal in the sense of like having a typical journal. I do a lot of writing. So I write emails, I create content. So like I do a lot of what I would consider
Okay.
digital journaling. And I'm sharing a lot of those things. Like personally, I don't have like a journal where I keep all my deepest, darkest thoughts or anything weird like that. Like I don't want to say weird. I'm gonna take
Yeah.
that back. It's not weird to do that. It makes sense for the people that need that. I pour into people and relationships. So there's a lot of people out there that know a lot of really deep, dark secrets about me, um, but it's not on paper anywhere.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
no
you can know
trail.
anything you want about me. I'm just not going to tell you my search history. Right? So when did you start when did you start adding on to your morning? When did you realize, okay, this is really working for me? I'm trying
um,
to encourage people to follow what you do.
no, that's great. So I started that process of waking up earlier probably the summer of 2017, let's say. And
Okay.
so I kind of started going through this process, and then in 2018, so about a year into it, I had lost a little bit of weight. I was kind of getting motivated. I started making a little money, and I was starting to ask myself, like, what do I want next? Like, where do I want to go from here? And that was when I really made the decision to start researching and figuring out what personal development meant. Like what were some of these people that I'm seeing, these guru guys, these like mentors, like what was really going on behind the scenes? And as a sales guy at the same time I'm asking myself like what is everybody doing to make money? Cuz again, I'm one of the top guys in my market and I'm making like 40 grand a year. Now for a high school
Oh
degenerate
my gosh.
dropout drug dealing like hooligan, I don't want to discredit the amazing opportunity that I had at the time. Like, blessed and highly favored, without a doubt. And also, though, I knew in my heart of hearts I was smarter than that and I was better than that. And so, really, for me, I got the morning routine dialed in. I started watching all these guys and I was asking myself what they were doing. And the biggest thing that I saw is the best sales guys also knew how to generate their own leads. And so I went
Hmm.
down the rabbit hole of marketing and figuring out, okay, well, hey, I know we're paying thousands of dollars a month to these vendors for insurance leads. So what are they doing to generate them? How are they getting them? And why are they charging us so much for them? I start pulling threads. And I end up in a Facebook group. These insurance guys are all making stupid money, and they're like, "Yeah, we build these woo-foo forms and run Facebook ads, and we're spending $2 and getting leads." And I'm like, $2? That sounds pretty sweet because we're paying like 25. Like, what's going on? I call these guys up, and I'm like, "Hey, I want to join your program." They're like, "Cool, it's $1,500." Like, cool. I don't have $1,500 because I make 40 grand a year, and I have a mortgage payment of 900 and some dollars. So like, hold on, let me call you back. And I go to the boss. I'm like, hey, boss, I want to join this program. They're going to teach me how to generate leads for us at a fraction of the cost of what we're paying these vendors. And he's like, no, I get credit from Allstate when I buy from them. Like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, just keep using what we're using. And I'm like, all right, okay. And I go and I sit down and I call the guys back like a day or two later. And I'm like doing that deep introspection of my wife's going to murder me. And also, I think I'm gonna go spend $1,500 on a credit card right now and do some crazy stuff. And I call the guys up. I'm like, all right, here's the deal, man. Just is this gonna work? Like, I will do everything in your program. Just tell me if is this gonna work? And they're like, yeah, of course it works, but you're too late. We already sold your spot to somebody else. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like 2 days ago, you were asking me for a credit card 7 times on the call. Now today, you don't want to like what? And so I kind of got like real bitter and frustrated. And it turns out those same guys were opening an agency in our market and didn't want me to have their program because I was already a top producer and
Oh.
other agents could look in the markets and see who was successful and like what to compare themselves against because there was always it was like a giant public flex off of who was writing the most premiums and all those things, you know. So they knew I was
Right.
already one of the top producers and didn't want me to use their system when they brought an agency in. I learned this many, many years later. It was one of the wildest God moments where it was like, hey, here's why this never happened, because you were meant to go down this path. Because when they said no, I went to a different Facebook group with another trainer that was like, hey, I'm teaching people how to use this software that I created. It's $200 for lifetime access. Sign up now, and I'm giving you a Facebook ads training. And it was kind of God going, hey, you spent $200 at the club on the weekend, dude. Like, you can spend $200. That's cool. And so I signed up for the program. I start using it, and that was my morning routine. Is I'd come in before, I'd do my morning stuff, come to the office at 8, and I'd start building these marketing campaigns, and then just call leads all day.
As you know, I've been coaching for a little over a year now, and my coach just laid something pretty heavy on me. They've challenged me to have 50 powerful coaching conversations booked within the next 30 days. So if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, maybe successful but unfulfilled, or you just need to talk something through with someone that you know will listen, then I would love to have that conversation with you. This is not a tactic. There's no sales pitch. It's just one powerful conversation. This is complimentary to you. So if you want in, send me a message and I'll send you the link. I got you.
My first month in the marketing stuff, I built a funnel, which for those of you that don't know, a funnel is a website or a landing page with an offer that you sign up to get something. So when you're signing things and giving away your name, phone, and email, that's what's referred to as a funnel. And so I build one for insurance, put a credit card on old Facebook and say, hey, I will spend $500 this month. I was like pretty nervous because, now I'm 200 plus the 500, so I'm 700 into this commitment. I generated 250 leads through that funnel. I doubled my production for the insurance agency and made an extra like $2,000 in commissions. So like in my mind, world changing. Granted,
Yeah.
I doubled
Spend
my
7 and
production.
you get $2,000.
Yes, spend 7, got $2,000 in return 30 days later. It's like
Yeah.
not bad. Well, what really ended up happening is all the other agents in our area started calling my boss and being like, "Yo, Drewbie's already one of the top guys. Like, what did he do, and was it legal?" Because like, there's always some
Right.
guys doing some sketchy stuff out there. And he's like, "Well, I don't know.
Right.
You got to talk to him, man. He's a closer. Like, he was probably just working the leads, like I told him to." And so they call me, and I'm like, "Well, dude, no, I built this funnel, and I'm getting exclusive leads instead of the one they sell to 6 and 7 other agents, and like I'm getting them for a fraction. Like, I can teach you how to do all this stuff because I'll just share with you what I learned." And they're like, no, 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 no. I have no interest in learning this. How much for you to set it up for me? I'm like, I don't know, $2,500. They're like, yes, sign me up. Where do I send you the money? I made $10,000 in a weekend, Jeff, setting up Facebook funnels
No
for these
way. Dude,
guys.
that's amazing.
And I was like, I'm in the wrong business. What the hell am I doing? And so, again, I'll pause there because this is where the pinnacle of my journey really starts. Of like, I start getting up earlier, start focusing, listening to like smarter people than me, kind of getting my mindset right. I take a chance and gamble on myself to learn a new skill set, put in the work, and it ends up opening up a door that leads me to multiple best-selling books, a podcast with 1,000 episodes, speaking on stage in different countries, traveling all over, like courses, all sorts of crazy stuff. But it was these small decisions to wake up earlier and change the things that I was listening to that started the
Yeah.
spiral of my entire life changing.
Yeah, dude, and people look at you and they're like, "Yeah, that Drewbie, he's an overnight success." They don't see all of the stuff. They don't see the 315 pounds that you had to work to start shedding. They don't see, "Hey, I'm just going to start walking." That was what? That's 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Um,
Overnight. Nine
Okay,
years in the
so
making.
overnight success only took me nine years to
That's it.
finally get that night. Um, so call the damn leads. Like it sounds it's so simple, right? It's like running a marathon. Running a marathon is so simple. You just sign up. It's not easy.
I've done one of those. I
But
wouldn't
call the
say it's as
damn
simple as you
leads.
think. It's hard.
No, that's yeah. But well, one. So first, I want to ask this question. This is a personal question, but I'm so curious. Like a lot of times, people overweight, 315 pounds. That's overweight. There's confidence issues. Calling leads takes massive confidence. What would you say to someone that's listening to this? Is like, oh, yeah, I don't know about that. Like, hey, I like this dude. He's cool. He's smart, but I don't know about calling all these people.
here's here's kind of the weird part that I've seen over the years, and everyone has a different perspective. So like, if you're hearing this and you tell me I'm way off base, that's totally fine. Heavy set guys, heavy set women, people that are overweight or have weird deformities or awkward looks about themselves that have like physical personal confidence issues, they often make up for it with humor and quick-wittedness and intelligence. And so they're often confident on the phone because they know the other person isn't looking at them and making judgments, so that isn't in the back of their mind distracting them from the task at hand. And pretty people, for lack of a better way to put it, uh, they're usually more extroverted and they do really great in person sales because that confidence of how they look makes them able to win people over. Versus you get pretty people on the phone and they're not able to use their looks and body language as a part of the process, and they lose because that I forget what the exact statistic, but like in conversation and communication, body language is like 57% of it. Tonality,
Oh yeah.
cadence, there's a couple other little pieces, but like body language is a big part. And so that's the differentiator that I've seen over the years in sales professionals and entrepreneurs is the ones that are a little out of shape or goofy looking. They make up for it with humor and wittiness, and the ones who are pretty, they're really good in person, but on the phones gets a little hectic and disorganized. So that's just my experience. I would say from a confidence perspective, it is important one way or the other to be confident in yourself and the products and services that you offer. So like there's definitely layers to it for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense because that tool or that ammunition is taken away when you're one of the pretty people and you're on the phone.
Mhm.
So, all right, we know the basics work, right? When it comes to sales, and you have a system, a proven system, and I'm gonna like bold and italicize and put that word in quotes. It's a proven system. Why do you think people still resist the basics even when they know they work when it comes to sales?
Oh, there's a reel out there, and I'm gonna have to pull the movie so I can give credit where credit's due. But they're like doing an interview, and I want to say they're in a kitchen, and the reporter's asking the young man, she's like, "What's the biggest lie you've ever been told?" And he's like, "It's not that simple." And she says, "Well, what do you mean?" And he says, "It's not that simple. It's the biggest lie I've ever been told." She's like, "I don't understand." It's like that's the point. Is sometimes we are personally overcomplicating things way more than necessary, and sometimes it's just as simple as getting up and doing the thing. But we will rationalize, we will come up with excuses, we will find every rhyme or reason to not do the thing, even though we know doing the thing is going to get us the result that we want. And
Yeah,
it's at all levels, rich people, poor people, healthy people, unhealthy people, we all do it. That's the craziest part is all of us are making rationalizations in our mind. It's how we reframe the priorities in our life in the way that we make rationalizations. Like for me, early on, the rationalization was my wife came to me and said, "Hey, listen, I love you, but I don't love all of this." And yes, I realize that, we had a baby and things have changed in life, but like this ain't doing it for me. And it was an extreme
Yeah.
gut punch because like, what? You know, But to be fair, when she met me, I was 215 pounds. I mean, now I was a drug dealing degenerate running around, not eating good at all. So, like, it was an unhealthy 215 pounds, but I was skinny. And then at that time, I was
Yeah.
285 pounds, man. I was big. I wasn't taking care of myself. And that's not a good reflection of the man, the father, the husband that I signed up and agreed to be. And
Right.
around that same time, I'm listening to personal development. I'm joining communities and talking with other people that have been in the game for a little while. And one of them comes to me and he's like, "Hey, man, you're making a little scratch now. Like, you got a pretty wife and a kid and a house." He's like, "What happens if, boom, all of a sudden you're looking down from heaven and there's some other asshole in your bed with your wife doing unspeakable things while your kid's in another room crying because you're not around because you didn't make the time to take care of yourself?" Well, excuse me, Jeff. That doesn't sound like heaven. Uh,
Right.
what? Like, but this is the reality. Is a lot of men specifically, but this goes both ways, but men specifically, you're putting everything you have into the business and to all these other things, but you're not taking care of yourself. You just think you're unbreakable. And I promise you, gentlemen, you're softer than Charmin. Every single one of us is easily breakable. And it's the stuff that we can control, but we choose not to for long periods of time that end up biting us in the ass. Every single time. And this is the
Yeah.
hardest
And
part
I don't.
about it is you have to get out of your own way first.
Yeah. And I don't know what that is. Like I see, and you too. You see so many entrepreneurs, and typically men, that they they grow their business. They've got the revenue. They've got the profit. They've got the employees. They keep growing, successful. They're disciplined, but don't take care of themselves. Is that because? I wonder if that's because that's not the measuring stick. The measuring stick is what's your top line revenue.
Well, this is the interesting part about the journey, I think, is that success is a perspective. Everyone's version is a
Yeah.
little bit different. And while birds of a feather will flock together, it's also the birds that look similar and act similar and eat similar and go to similar places. You're starting to pick up the pattern here, right? Like, same thing in life. You have a clique. You got people that love Lamborghinis and yachts and Mexico vacations, and then you got guys that love big trucks and hunting and hanging out on the weekend at their kids' sporting events. It doesn't make either
Yeah.
one of them wrong or right.
Right.
It just makes it an option. And I think what happens oftentimes, again, I'm gonna just gonna use men, is you get caught in the comparison trap, and you're mad because there are 5 or 6 different types of life you could live out there, and you want all of it. You want to have your cake and you want to eat it too. And respectfully, if you eat all the cake, you're gonna be fat and lazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That comes with repercussions.
It comes with a cost every time.
Hey, I have like a real question because I could be this person.
Sure.
When you're coaching people about sales, like how do you separate mindset work from excuses that people disguise like as I don't know how to ask the question. Like, when do you know? Like, for me, one thing that I'm really bad about doing, there's things that I don't like to do marketing wise, because I have no idea what the outcome is going to be. So my brain, if I don't have data, my brain fills the missing data in with bad stuff. So then
Ooh,
I'll make an
okay.
excuse. So, like for me, I have a fear of rejection.
Hmm.
How do you coach someone on a mindset issue versus just making an excuse? Like, I decided to knock off early to go drinking or whatever. How can you. Doesn't my question make sense? It
It
almost
does.
doesn't make sense
I
to me.
actually love that. It's kind of a good coaching moment, and I'm gonna pull on this thread for a minute here because we still got a little bit of
Okay.
time. Um, so in that instance, right? Okay, I have a fear of rejection, and it makes me uncomfortable, let's say, doing certain aspects of my marketing. And so what I would look at in that perspective is A, if you are in a position currently where you cannot delegate your marketing because you don't have the budget or the funds to hire that out. Let's just, assume you're kind of in that startup phase.
Okay.
There's two parts of this that are relatively, and again, we're pulling a thread here, Jeff, so like we're going to go deep on this.
Yeah.
But there's two
Yeah.
parts to this. First and foremost, um, most people struggle to sell themselves and their own products or services. I'm not exactly sure why that is. I'm still kind of pulling that from an unconscious mind. I think it's a self-worth thing. I think there's some, again, fear
Starving
of
artist.
rejection, starving artist. Yeah, there's a lot to that we could go down from a psychological
Yep.
standpoint. The other aspect is that there are certain metrics that we can just put in place as a guideline to be able to give you confidence whether or not your marketing actually sucks. And that I think is the coachable moment of just saying, "Hey, listen, I totally understand that you think it could bomb, and I could sit here and tell you, but what if it goes great all day long and that's never going to really
Yeah.
like soothe your soul? So let's do this. Let's build some stuff and let's try it for a week. And let's look at these metrics. And if it's anywhere outside of these metrics, we'll know that the marketing sucks and maybe we need to come up with a different plan. But if it's close, you have to agree to me to keep testing and trying for another week. What do you think?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so now I'm going to go,
Then
okay, here's the
there's.
metrics. We want a $25 CPM, and we want less than a $2.50 cost per click. And ideally, if your program is $1,000 and we can get leads for $50 or less, and we know your closing rate is $20, you're going to spend, or 20%, you're going to spend 500, but you're going to generate 2,000. Like the math is the math is the math, right? We can just simplify this down to here's what we're shooting for, let's go for it. And if it doesn't get anywhere close than that, then we know we're off and we'll try a different route. But here's how we're going to handle it first.
Yeah. Yeah, and then then you have an out, right? There's no real level of commitment. You're almost going into it saying, okay, well now I know it's going to fail. But then if it doesn't, like that's a total positive, way less risk.
It's always a
Um,
risk, but at least you're setting a boundary and expectation. The scariest part is when you have no
yeah,
expectation of what's going to happen, right? I talk about this a lot from a sales perspective, from confidence. Why are they afraid to pick up the phone? Why does call reluctance exist? Well, it's a confidence issue. There's two things that
yeah,
happen there. Either you're not confident in the product and service that you're providing, which is why you feel weird or awkward selling it to somebody because you don't think it's a great thing that can actually help them, which is a whole other issue, or you just don't know what the hell to say when you get on the phone with somebody, which is like 99% of it. People just don't know what to
yeah.
say. And the funny thing is if I told you, remember the old game shows where it's like, do you want what's behind door number 1 or door number
That's
2?
right. Yeah,
And they'd look at the audience. It's like you're on stage and it's your choice. And what are you first doing? You're looking to the audience and asking them what they think.
yeah,
Like, what in the
yeah.
world is wrong with people? But that's how it is. And so if you were to open up, if I say, hey, here's door number 1, door number 2, which one do you want? You're going to stutter for a second because you don't know if it's $1 million behind that door. You don't know if it's our boy Harambe the gorilla just waiting to rip your face off in revenge. Like, you don't know. So you hesitate. But if you did know, and you were able to step in and really take control of whatever the situation was, you'd be confident and you'd show up and you'd open that door and it wouldn't matter. That's the difference between a trained person who knows what to say and how to say, when to say, and someone that's just winging it.
Yeah, and then a lot of times too, when you're just winging it, you have bad feedback. You have negative feedback. You give yourself negative feedback. Oh, well, they're going to tell me I'm an idiot and hang up on me. Then you play that story over.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, I know you got to run, but this is for the person. So you're going to have to manage your time on this question. For the person listening that feels overwhelmed, somebody that feels overwhelmed right now, they're overwhelmed and then they're behind. Now they're disorganized. This is in their life, not necessarily in their job. What would you recommend? Just one non-negotiable daily action that they could start that would almost guarantee they change their trajectory. Be anything. Sleep, making your bed, walking like you did, praying.
No, the number one thing you can do is make the calendar your boss. We all get the same 24 hours in a day. How you use them will determine the life that you live. And so if you want to be more successful, you want to change your life, like you want one thing to do every single day, leverage the calendar to stay in control of your time. Because when you start respecting your time and you put boundaries on your time and you make sure other people understand the value of your time, guess what? It keeps increasing. And people stop bothering you for stuff that they know they're not going to get from you because they're never going to pay and they're not going to do anything about it, so you just stop hearing from them. And that's hard, and that's a whole other thread we could pull for another call perhaps, but like, make your time the most valuable thing in your life and really focus on where you're spending it, who you're spending it with, and what it's turning into. And if you do that, I know you'll win. Doesn't matter where you're trying to go.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is kind of a reminder that clarity doesn't really come from thinking harder, right? It comes from just do the damn thing.
Call the damn
That's
lead.
what removes the chaos.
That's it.
What's that?
Just call the damn lead. That's it.
Just call the damn lead.
Call the damn lead, baby. It's simple, and it works.
Yep.
And a lot of people doubt it, but that's the game.
Where is so I follow you on Instagram. Where's the best place to send people if people want to learn more?
All right.
To find out about you.
Best thing they can do, right? If you're here with us 40 some minutes into this and you're still listening along, first and foremost, thank you. I know I'm weird. I know I'm a little bit out there, but I also have done some things that have helped me and thousands of clients across the world be more successful. And so if you got value out of today's call, share it on social media. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever your platform of choice is, share it and tag at Call the Damn Leads. That's going to do me and Jeff the favor of letting the world know that this episode was worth the time you invested in it, and that's what matters. After that, go over to callthedamnleads.com. I have several books. They're also on Amazon, Call the Damn Leads. Like, everything we do is brand congruent. So if you search Call the Damn Leads on anything, you'll find us. But share this episode. That's the thing that I'm really looking for, because when you tag me, it's going to notify me, and I'm going to do what I do, and I'm going to call the damn lead, and I'm just going to ask you, hey, what did you like about the show, and what's your biggest roadblock? Because if I can help you fix it, I'm going to give you some game and point you in the right direction from there.
Nice. And you've got training tools on your website too, right, that we can sign up for?
Absolutely. I've got books, training programs, I've got swag, anything you might need to help you on your journey, whether it's just a reminder for the desk or something to really help you build a true sales process, it's all at callthedamnleads.com.
Nice. All right. This has been All Can, No Can. And remember, you don't need more inspiration. It's not motivation. It's discipline. You need fewer excuses and better systems. I'm Jeff Luther, your host, and until next time, I absolutely cannot wait to see you. Thanks for listening to All Can, No Can't. If today's episode resonated with you, remember it's not about the chaos you face. It's about how you choose to take back control. It's about finding that one small can in the can't you're given and grinding it down. Find your angle, carve your place out in the world, and get the fucking win. Do that by finding what you can do and not listening to what you can't. You choose. Be sure to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Your support helps me reach more people that are ready to embrace the all-can mindset. And it lets them know there's someone that's willing to walk with them no matter how dark the path gets. You can find me on Insta at JDLuther 2.0 and allcan_no-can't. This is where I share more tips, stories, inspiration to help fuel your journey. And until next time, keep pushing boundaries, breaking limits, proving to yourself that anything is possible, even when you're told it isn't. Remember, life's not about can't. It's all can. Go prove them wrong.